Hello and welcome to NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. I am Patient CD. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the Harmonized Mental Health Bill into law. The bill, which was harmonized by the Senate and House of Representatives in 2021, replaced the Lunacy Act of 1958. The president of the Association of Psychiatrists of Nigeria, Professor Taiwo Obindo, who confirmed the signing, described it as a great relief to the mental health care and practice in the country. With the new law, the Lunacy Act of 1958, which practitioners condemn as outdated and inhumane, will cease to be effective. The establishment of a Department of Mental Health Services in the Federal Ministry of Health and a Mental Health Fund are some of the provisions of the National Mental Health Bill. And now the federal government has advised undocumented Nigerians in Equatorial Guinea to return to the country. This advice was contained in a statement signed by the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Head Media Public Relations and Protocols Unit Abdul Rahman Balogun on Friday. According to the Commission, its attention was drawn to the report by the government of Equatorial Guinea on October 17, 2022, advising undocumented foreigners in the country to leave voluntarily or face government sanction. The government of Equatorial Guinea noted that the move will help create stability in the country. This stopped by the resurgence of COVID-19 in China. Medical bodies in the country have expressed worry about the federal government's refusal to place travel restriction on inbound passengers from China in the country. According to them, Nigeria does not have adequate human resources to handle another pandemic as a result of the massive immigration of health workers to other countries. There is a resurgence of COVID-19 in China following the relaxation of the country's zero-COVID policy, as well as significantly increased COVID-19 cases, admissions and deaths in the United Kingdom and the United States of America over the past weeks, driven partly by the usual winter exacerbations of respiratory illnesses. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention has maintained that country-targeted travel restriction, including requests for PCR negative tests for incoming travelers, had little or no effect on preventing global and national circulation of Omicron since the emergence of its variant and its relatives with their shorter incubation period. The Nigeria Association of Resident Doctors has said that the chief medical director or medical director of any hospital in the country where a doctor or health worker is attacked by patients' relatives during the line of duty should be queried. Decrying the spate of attacks on medical professionals in recent times, NERD said it was the responsibility of the CMDs and the medical directors of hospitals to provide security to their staff. The national president of NERD, Dr. Emeka Oji, stated this while speaking in an exclusive interview. Oji, who is also a senior registrar at the Department of Orthopedics and Trauma Surgery, Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, Abia State, lamented that the hospitals in the country are not secure. According to him, security should not be compromised in hotspots in the hospital, particularly in the emergency department and general outpatient department where most of the attacks take place. A People Democratic Party candidate for Pengana constituency in Plateau State, House of Assembly Matthew Akawa is dead. It was learned that Akawu died in a hospital on Friday morning after a brief illness. A family source who confirmed the development in Jos said that the former school principal died a few hours after returning from a traditional festival in his Basa local government area of the state. His political associate and lawmaker representing Jos South constituency in the State House of Assembly from Conson described the PDP candidate's death as shocking. The PDP candidate's death brings to the number of candidates who have died in the state ahead of the forthcoming general elections. A 35-year-old widow and mother of four who had been devastated by violent attacks in Plateau State was given a house by the non-governmental group Jinkai Aid Initiative. The NGO's board chairman, Professor Emmanuel Gay, stated that at a news conference in Jos that the organization's goal was to lessen the suffering of those who have been the victims of violence attack. He says the organization is determined to reconstruct residential buildings of the most vulnerable victims of the attacks. We'll learn more from our correspondent, Nasiru Saidu.
This is a briefing about the organization operation in Nigeria for journalists by Jinkai Aid Initiative. The briefing, which showcases the organization's vision, is presided by Professor Emmanuel Gay, the organization's board chairman, along with two other members.
As you all are aware, Nigeria has been convulsed in ethno-religious violence for several decades now. And it's not just Nigeria, it's West Africa and many parts of the world. But we are focused on Nigeria because we are originally of Nigerian descent. So Jinkai Aid Initiative was founded by Nigerian Canadians based on the desire to alleviate the suffering of people who have been affected by these ethno-religious clashes. Our vision is to build economically viable and thriving communities. And we are focused particularly on helping people to rebuild their homes.
Ancha, village in Basi local government area of Plateau State, was the site of Jinkai's first project. This community had suffered from a number of attacks.
In terms of the number of homes that were destroyed, if we are particular with Ancha, I would say that roughly over 100 homes were destroyed. And the community, in their own effort, were able to move some of them, and some of them were destroyed completely beyond roofing. You have to build a new home.
And yesterday we were able to hand over the keys to our very first home that was built through a widow at Ancha village, which is in Nyambo, Basa local government of Plateau State. This house that was built for this widow was designed by Nigerian architecture students, whom we challenged to do a design competition in 2019. And the competition was judged by an international panel of prominent architects. And the design that was selected was presented to the beneficiary communities, who then were able to select the design that we were. The designs are using local materials. They had the remit to be easily built by low-skilled individuals, but they will be better quality, they will be sound and resilient for this climate, and also give people a better accommodation. And also, it is our hope that as we expand our activities, we will cover other parts of Nigeria that have been similarly affected. And also, the designs are widely available to be replicated by other communities worldwide who would like to adopt such designs for their own build. We also want to ask the government to give these communities legal title documents to their lands. Because in the future, if there are other disturbances and incursions, they have property security, which is also one of the things that we continue to advocate and propose as we interact with various administrators.
The Jinkai initiative collaborates with significant people and groups to offer a safe haven for thousands of attacks victims across communities around Nigeria. Nasr Saidu, Viewer TV News, Jos.
We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, News Plus continues.
In this 21st century, where all the information we need is now in the palm of our hands. News from around the world, entertainment, celebrity gossip, sports, and much more. The only thing that you need is the right source. Viewer TV is now on the go. Simply check us out on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter for all the information you need.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has established committees for National Situation Room and Collection Center for the 2023 general elections. The commission said that this via its official Twitter handle. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, while inaugurating the committee, charged its members to start work in earnest and discharge their responsibility diligently. Professor Yakubu will head the Collaboration Secretariat Committee, while the National Commissioner May Agbamuchi Mbu will chair the Situation Room Committee. According to the National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, the Commission during its weekly meeting on Thursday had deliberately on several issues, including the venue by the National Situation Room and Collection Center for the 2023 general elections. The Court of Appeal Sokoto Division has affirmed Dauda Lawal Dare as the People's Democratic Party (PDP) governorship candidate in the 2023 general elections. It thereby set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court sitting in Gusau, the state capital, which had earlier disqualified Lawal Dare. In November, the court nullified the governorship primary of the PDP that produced the plaintiff as the party's candidate, marking the second time the court will disqualify the party's governorship primary elections in the state. The Federal High Court had also declared it in his judgment that the PDP had no candidate for the said position in the forthcoming election in the state. In September, the court nullified the previous primary that elected Lawal Dare following a suit filed before by Ibrahim Shehu and two other aspirants challenging the credibility of the primary. The court ordered a rerun by Lawal Dare emerged winner at the rerun also in September. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has commenced the second phase of food distribution from items donated by King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center for 8,000 households of internally displaced persons in 4 camps and has host communities in Borno State. Director General NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, who flagged off the distribution in Maiduguri, said at the conclusion of the second phase of the distribution, about 16,000 IDPs household in Borno State will have benefited from the food donation by the ski relief. The first phase of the food distribution was done in December 2022. The NEMA DG, who has represented by the Director of Planning, Research and Forecasting, Fatima Kasim, said each of the household is expected to have 59.8 kilograms of the food basket, while appreciating the King of Saudi Arabia, Salman Abdulaziz, and the Crown Prince and Prince Minister, Mohammed Salman, for the donation delivered through SK Relief. The NEMA DG Mustafa Ahmed said the gesture will go a long way for the benefit the IDPs and also complements the efforts of the federal government. Kube cap is among the several fashions adopted in northern Nigeria, particularly in Borno State. This costume serves several functions, from protecting the wearer from the scorching sun to a display of wealth and affluence, among others. Correspondent Kurisi Beatrice takes a look at the history of the cap and how family residents can differentiate the design from other states. And now the report.
Kube caps can be traced back to ancient times that was largely undocumented in northern Nigeria. Most men in this region wear the caps on native attire, popularly called kaftan, not just for fashion but identity. It's worn during special occasions such as Salah celebrations, naming ceremonies, and weddings. Kube cap plays an essential role in society as maturity and responsibility are well ascribed to wearers. It has many designs, sizes, and different names named after notable people who first wore them. Babagana Mukhtar is adding some caps to his collection, but how well can he identify other caps beside Borno designs?
I don't know the ones from other states because they are not Borno made. I only know one called Minister and few others. Most of the ones that we don't know, they bring them from other states.
Miaram, Miaram they call it, and it's made in Meduguri. Yeah.
You know why they call them Miara?
Actually, I don't know the real meaning of Miaram because I'm not Kanuri by tribe. I am Hausa Fulani.
Okay. Which other names of caps will you know? If you count them.
I know Zanna Bukar, and there are some different caps where I know I used to wear. Like Zanna Bukar, I know about it, and as well as
For we in Meduguri, we wear the cap often, not only when you want to look good or you are nicely dressed, but some people from other places feel like wearing it only on wedding days.
It takes over 20 or more days to design and complete a cap, and each design has a special name attached to it, like the Rawaram cap, named after an old female singer from Bama town.
Yeah, it was named after a woman singer who is known to be singing in Kanuri in the olden days, particularly early 50s and then early 60s. So she flipped the cap by then, and she prayed after the cap that they should name after her, and it's named after her, and up to now it is named. When you want it, you say Rawaram as he said.
You know, no, say when you came from Borno, if you're not using this cap, you are not a qualitative man. If you are from Borno, if you wear then they call this color captain or this thing, where our people we are calling it Zaria or Hausa people. So if you wear captain, you will use this cap. So the cap will fit you. Even our governor and our president, he using this cap. It's from Bama. From Bama is from Meduguri.
An individual, either you are married or you are not married, you can wear the cap. But mostly responsible people that knows who they are and what they are the ones that must be wearing the cap. Because if you are up to a certain stage that you are not even wearing the cap, even they will tell you that, oh, why you don't have the cap at this age or when you are now in this position. So this is where the issue comes in.
It is indisputable that almost all Nigerians are associated with one form of cap or the other, but ethnic group use the Kube cap, though not part of their tribal dressing.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has said that it is not in accord against the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. In a brief communique by its spokesperson, Peter Afunanya, the DSS said a recent publication with the headline "Court Steps DSS from Arresting INEC Chairman" had its facts skewed. According to the DSS image maker, the service has pointed out its disapproval to the editorial authorities of the newspaper that published the story and a promise. Agreement was reached to address the concern raised. However, those who are concerned are yet to be resolved. Dr. Afunanya stressed that his communique has become important to guide public understanding and perception, especially that they said report is misleading. The DSS therefore warned these individuals and groups to desist from the devious plans. It was also advised all critical stakeholders to be vigilant and resist attempts to use them to thwart the law. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted dust haze weather condition, also known as Harmattan, from Friday to Sunday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook release in Abuja anticipated prospects of thick dust haze on Friday over the northern region, with visibility of less than 1,000 over Yobe, Kano, Katsina, and Jigawa. According to NIMET, thick dust haze will horizontally visibly of less than 1 meters is expected over Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, and Yobe on Sunday or Saturday. The agency envisaged the rest of the northern state, the north, central, and southern region of the country to be in moderate dust haze condition, with horizontal visible range of 1,000 to 5,000 throughout the forecast period. And now on the international scene. The Senegalese authority have barred a demonstration plan for federal in Dakar by the opposition to denounce irregularities in the management of an anti-COVID fund identity in a report by the Court of Auditors, an official source said. A decree by the prefect of Dakar state that the place for the demonstration is the subject of major works linked to a project for buses running on exclusive lines and the preparation of the Independence Day schedule for 4th April. The main opposition coalition, Yewi Askanwi, had called for a demonstration on Friday to contest the way this government is managing our public funds and against the democratic backsliding and imputing of the men in power. An audit report by the Court of Auditors of Senegal published in mid-December concerned the expenditure made in 2020 and 2021 on the funds to fight against the effects of COVID-19. The document pointed the shortcomings over billing, lack of justification for expenses, sums of which, moreover, are not linked to COVID. In Sudan, hundreds of demonstrators have taken to the streets of the capital, Khartoum, to demand the country's military rule leave power. The demonstrators also rejected a deal struck weeks ago for the gradual transfer of power to civilian leaders. A military coup in October 2021 erupted, ended a previous democratic transition agreement with protest leaders. The protest was led by the Residents Committee, a grassroots group that has steadfastly rejected any negotiation with Sudan military leaders, General Abdel Fattah Burhan and General Mahmoud Dagalo. The agreement between the military and civilian leaders also avoided sensitive political issues concerning transitional justice and reforming the military, a policy that promises to see various armed factions within Sudan integrate into the fighting force. Hawaii's Kilauea began erupting inside its summit crater Thursday, the U.S. Geological Survey said, less than 1 month after the volcano and its larger neighbor Mauna Loa stopped releasing lava. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory detected a glow in webcam images indicating Kilauea had begun erupting inside Halemaumau crater at the volcano summit caldera. Kilauea summit is inside Hawaii Volcanoes National Park and away from residential communities. Earlier Thursday, the U.S. Geological Survey raised the alert level for Kilauea due to signs that magma was moving below the summit surface, on an indication that the volcano might erupt. Kilauea is one of the world's most active volcanoes. It's also the last erupted for 16 months, started in September 2021 for about 2 weeks starting November 27th. Hawaii had 2 volcanoes spewing lava side by 2 when Mauna Loa erupted for the first time in 28 years. Both volcanoes stopped erupting at about the same time. Aid group says they have been pushed against a wall by the Taliban prohibiting Afghan women from working for NGOs, a ban that has left a dangerous gap in life-saving support. Afghanistan NGOs have been instrumental in trying to address one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with half the country's population hungry and 3 million children at risk of malnutrition. Some 1,260 NGOs operate across Afghanistan, with thousands of women working, providing services in healthcare, education, water, and sanitation. The IRC is one of several NGOs along the Care and Save the Children that have suspended operation while they urge the Taliban to revoke the ban. The discriminatory Taliban policy will see thousands of women lose their jobs and many more cut out of aid loops, workers says.
Last winter, it was humanitarian aid that prevented a famine in this country. If we are not able to deliver humanitarian aid in the same way, if not more than what we did last year, we're going to be faced with a very horrific situation.
It's not about their job anymore. It's not about them anymore. It's about the people who are actually in need of the services. They will also be impacted, and that's how the situation will only get worse and worse with this decision. And that's how the situation will only get worse and worse with this decision.
And that's all on NEWSPLUS. I am Patient CD. Many thanks for watching, and please enjoy the rest of our programs.